Hello, I'm Kelly Howley, the Director of the Lakeville Council on Aging. I'd like to welcome you to our new program, Senior Safety. Since everyone is practicing social distancing and staying home to help keep themselves safe, the need to develop a program to bring valuable information and resources to our COA arose. As a cooperative effort between the Plymouth County District Attorney Tim Cruz, Plymouth County Sheriff Joe McDonald, the Lakeville Council on Aging, and LakeCAM, we're proud to present this program. The Senior Safety Program has been designed to be educational, informative, and lighthearted. It will cover a wide array of topics, which will include public safety, supportive services, and community interests. The topic we chose to explore for this episode are the seeds from China that some of our viewers may have received and some of the other recent scams that have surfaced in our community during COVID-19. Our guests for this segment are Plymouth County District Attorney Tim Cruz and Linda Ewell, President of the Friends of the Lakeville Senior Center.
Thanks, Kelly. It's me, Tim Cruz, and Linda. It's nice to see you also. It's great to be involved in these chats and these Facebooks that we go on throughout the county. Myself and the sheriff and trying to deal with some of the issues that we're all facing right now during coronavirus, because it certainly is a very much unprecedented time for all of us. And in dealing with, the court system right now, which is a challenge in and of itself regarding getting people to and from the courtroom, I think it's much difficult right now for seniors who perhaps can't go to the COAs anymore, or they can't do their normal issues that they do every day in life because of coronavirus. And what we see, unfortunately, and we see it all the time, when there is a crisis, there are people out there, very unscrupulous people, who will attempt to, take advantage of people who are just trying to go about their normal life and trying to make sure that they can get what is yours. They try to get it from you, whether it be actual things that you have acquired or more importantly, your personal and your financial information. So we need to work really hard, continue to do that safe and vigilant, but we also need to make sure that we're very vigilant with all of our information.
District Attorney Cruz, it's been reported in the news that people are receiving seeds in the mail from China. Could you help us understand if this is a scam?
Yeah, Linda, thanks. Thanks for that question. It seems to be a scam that's been ongoing. It's called it's a brushing scam. And what's been going on, for those of you that may not have been following it, is that there are unmarked seed packets that are coming from China and they've been arriving in mailboxes all around the United States with no explanation, with no reason. They just show up at your home and in your mail. The package normally will contain a name on it called China Post. It might be labeled as jewelry, small electronics, or some other item. But so far, the officials at the U.S. Department of Agriculture have identified at least 14 different species that have turned to be seeds of flowering plants, herbs, and vegetables. And, out of precaution, the United States Drug Enforcement Administration is encouraging recipients not to plant or discard the seeds. They're still not sure if they're invasive plants. They're not sure if they're harmful plants. They just plain don't know, because it's awful unusual for any of us to get something like that in the mail for free. So if you get something in the mail, what they're asking you to do, save them and mail them along with the original packaging that you get to the state plant regulatory official. And here in Massachusetts, if you get the seeds and the packaging, it should be sent to the Division of Crop and Pest Services at the Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources, which is located at 251 Causeway Street in Boston, Suite 500 in Boston, Mass. I know I have a tendency to speak fast. That information should be on our website also. So if you need that information, if you do get that, PlymouthDA.com has all of our information.
Thank you, District Attorney. You mentioned that the seeds from China are part of a brushing scam.
Yes.
Can you help us understand more about what a brushing scam is?
Sure. I mean, brushing scams, unfortunately, have been popping up all over the country. And usually what it is, you have companies, third-party sellers are using addresses that they've discovered online or were provided to them. And the intent of the scam is to use your address to make it appear as though you wrote a great online review of the merchandise of that company, which a company will actually write themselves, and they'll post it themselves in an effort to show that you're a verified buyer of that merchandise. Then what they'll do is they'll take this fake post and this great review from you to try to improve their product ratings, to get more people to go on and purchase or get onto their websites and get their information. Turns out that sort of payoff, believe it or not, is actually very profitable from their perspective. And in addition to the seeds from China, what's been going on also, there's been unordered boxes of merchandise from Amazon and other retailers that have been appearing on people's doorsteps. These packages normally don't have a return address, so the receiver has no idea who ordered the items or why they received them. And most times, people say that they get things such as ping pong balls, humidifiers, hand warmers, flashlights, Bluetooth speakers, a long list of things. For the most part, they're all very lightweight and inexpensive items that are sent to them. If you get something like this, if something comes to your door, according to the Federal Trade Commission, this type of merchandise and you didn't order it and you're not responsible for it, you have a legal right to keep it.
Hey, Cruz, other than using our names for a false review so a company can hopefully drive up their sales, are there additional concerns that we should be worried about with brushing scams?
Yeah, I mean, you would think, what's so bad about receiving free merchandise? You know, they're using your name, it's coming to your home, and you're getting things for free. The problem lies in that someone was able to figure out and to send you things to your home as if you purchased them. This indicates more likely than not that that group, that entity, that those people, they probably have some of your personal information, your name, your address, your phone number, maybe even your credit card numbers. And what this will eventually lead to, and what can lead to, are once they get that information, they can do these other instances that they call porch pirating. And porch pirating, which has been associated with the brushing scams, scammers and thieves are going to use the information that they've obtained to order merchandise from your account. Then when they have your address, they're going to watch for the delivery of these packages, and they're going to steal them before you get home. So they're going to order things with your information that you're never going to see unless you subsequently check your credit card statement and you see what's on there. So if you received seeds, if you received unordered merchandise, that might be a sign that your personal information has been compromised. And what you should do is you should change your passwords, keep a close eye on your credit card bills and your credit reports. And if you get an unwanted package, say from Amazon, contact the Amazon customer service so that they can investigate and take action on this. You shouldn't be conducting an investigation yourself. What you should be doing is reaching out to the people that can do that investigation, because it's a much bigger entity than what we individually can deal with.
You know, I'm really amazed at the length that these scammers go to get to us. Can you help us understand how we as a senior community can protect ourselves?
Yeah, Linda, I mean, it's all about being vigilant. It's all about making sure we can watch our information and also be concerned when you get phone calls. Because one of the other scams that we continue to deal with, unfortunately, are the grandparent scams. And these have been going on, especially, you know, the scammers that are committing these falsehoods, really. The thing you should understand is that they're really good at what they do. They're professional thieves, and they're very good at startling you and trying to get information from you, and then they can weave that into a story. And so what we've seen here in our county in the last few weeks, actually a few months, and also a few weeks during COVID, you get a phone call in the middle of the night, and somebody will say that they're your grandchild, and they're going to say, you know, grandma, grandpa, they're in a problem. They just got arrested. They're in a car accident. They're in a hospital. They need something from you. Say they're on a trip, which you may not even know about. I'm overseas. I got robbed. I have no money. You know, something like that. They'll promise to pay you back. And what they're trying to do is, you know, once again, it's the middle of the night. Somebody calls you up at 1 o'clock in the morning. That startles you. I mean, nobody calls you at 1 o'clock in the morning unless it's bad news. So therefore, they play with that. These guys will play with that. And you're so startled by that ringing phone in the middle of the night, and you get a little bit of information that you will very well say, probably, you know, Johnny, Jimmy, Timmy, is that you? You've given them the information that they need to go to the next part of their scam.
I would just think that I would be able to recognize my own grandson's voice.
No, I think you're right. But like I said, these people are good at what they do. And if by some chance you did recognize that it wasn't your grandson's voice, they're going to move on to the next person. And maybe somebody it's not quite so vigilant as you are. You know, remember, first of all, they're going to catch you off guard, startling you in the middle of the night. So therefore, they're working on your frayed nerves to begin with. And as soon as you say your grandchild's name, they're ready for the next phase. You know, one of the cases we had here in our county was allegedly a grandson called up his grandmother, said he was in a car accident up in New Hampshire, and that when he was up in New Hampshire, he was with his friend of his, and because of COVID, the courts are closed for like a week. So they were going to, because it was his fault in the accident, he rear-ended somebody, wasn't paying attention, they were going to hold him in jail for a week unless he could come up with bail money. And so that grandparent got the name, or that grandparent got the name of that person. And as soon as she said the name, they said, listen, my friend, you know, Stevie, his dad's a lawyer. Here, you can talk to him. And now you're off with that. You're no longer talking to the person who's your grandson. You're talking to the doctor. You're talking to the attorney, somebody who's allegedly going to be in a position to help your grandchild. And they're going to tell you stories about what you can do to expedite their process, what you can do to help your grandkids. I mean, who doesn't want to help their grandkids, especially if they're in big trouble, whether it's money for bail, money for a hospital, money for whatever it's going to be. But what they'll do is they'll get more information from you, and they will work out and they will devise a way for you to actually get money, cash money, gift cards, whatever, to get it to them. And then they're quote unquote going to make sure that your grandson or your granddaughter is taken care of. We had in one of our cases, that same case, they talked the grandparent into coming up with thousands of dollars cash. The grandparent went to the bank. And you know, we often tell the banks also, listen, if somebody comes to your bank and somebody's asking for something incredibly unusual, thousands of dollars cash, that never happens. That should put an antenna up. There's a problem with that. But this bank actually did ask that question. And the person, because they were told not to spread that information, because they were told that, they said, oh no, nothing's wrong. They got the money. And then a courier actually showed up at their house and took the money, cash. And then they were gone. They said, you'll hear from your grandson. Well, of course, time goes by, you don't hear from your grandson. And then when this woman calls her grandson up, it turns out that this had never happened. He was never in trouble. And I think that's the problem. And the problem that we have is trying to really put the toothpaste back in the tube. Once the money's out, very difficult to get it back. Even with a lot of good people working hard to get it, whether it be the district attorney's office, the state police, the local police, the federal authorities, because many times you go past just the state jurisdictions. Most of these entities start outside the state. You have to use the feds for that.
Hey, Cruz, what should our seniors do if they receive one of these calls?
If you get a call, if somebody calls you, sends you a text, sends you an email, claiming to be a family member, claiming to be somebody in desperate need of money, first thing is resist the urge to act immediately, no matter how real it sounds. And you need to verify the caller's identity. So don't say names. Don't say the name of your grandson, your granddaughter. Don't say that, or family members or friends or anything such as that. Try to ask some questions of this person that's calling you in the middle of the night that a stranger wouldn't have the answers to. Ask them what's the name of your grandchild, rather than vice versa. And reach out to your family members. Reach out to people to verify the story. I mean, you don't want to get your grandkids in trouble with their parents, your children, but you'd rather have that than be scammed and lose thousands of dollars. You should know when somebody's asking for cash, when somebody's asking for gift cards or money transfers or whatever it may be, that should heighten your awareness that this is a problem. And once that's, like I said, once that scammer gets the money, you're probably never going to get it back.
DA Cruz, are there any other scams targeting our seniors that we should all be aware of right now?
Unfortunately, there are, Kelly. I mean, we still are dealing with a lot of the fraudulent COVID-19 scams. Right now, it pertains a lot to the contact tracing and the fraudulent billing of Medicare for COVID testing, treatment, or supplies. But basically, the contact tracing scam works this way. A scammer will call you and say something along the lines of, good morning. According to our system, you've been in close proximity to somebody who tested positive for COVID-19. That means you now need to self-isolate for 14 days, and you also have to take a COVID-19 test. So, if you get that phone call, I think the natural thing would be, well, okay, who was I near? And they're going to tell you that they can't tell you because of HIPAA laws and federal medical laws that they can't give you that information because it's all confidential. And then the next step is they're going to be asking you You need to be tested within a certain time period, usually 72 hours. And they're going to need the best mailing address so they can send you a kit, but they're going to also ask for your credit card number so they can charge you with a $50 fee, and that's what they charge you with. And when you question that, you're going to be told the testing is not free. There's a one-time fee of $50 for the kit and the test results. So what they're going to do is they're going to pressure you. They're going to pressure you to read off your credit card information, your credit card numbers, all the little numbers that are on the back side of the credit card. If you push back and say there's not a fee, they're going to tell you that there's going to be penalties for not complying and that you can be subject to those penalties. So, you should remember just a few months ago, the Massachusetts Senior Medicare Program sent out an alert warning to all seniors to never accept any form of COVID-19 testing from anybody other than a treating licensed physician or a state designated testing site. Scammers sometimes will even go door to door. And they'll give you a false positive test, offer to treat you immediately. They're so bold that many times they try to get your Medicaid number and money from you, and they try to bill Medicare actually for the service that they allegedly have brought to your door. So, I mean, it's certainly ongoing. And, you're also going to see a new Social Security scam that's going on right now, is that telephone scammers are pretending to be government employees working for the Social Security Administration or some other governmental agency. And they're going to email you false documents, and they look really real. Remember that. That's the thing about all this, is that these individuals who are trying to get your information or get your credit card or whatever it is, they're really good at what they do, and they're hoping that, that if they do get that information out of you, that you're not going to tell anybody because you're going to feel foolish or you're going to be embarrassed. And that's actually the worst thing we can do. If it does happen to you, you shouldn't be ashamed or embarrassed by it. The thing that we have to do is tell our friends, tell our COA, tell people so it doesn't happen to them too. Tell the police, make reports. That's what's really important. When these people are going around these Social Security Administration issues or other governmental agencies right now, like I said, they're going to send you false documents. They look really real. Once again, it's a form of phishing. And they're going to tell you there's a problem or an issue with your Social Security number or account, and you owe a debt or you owe a fine. They're going to threaten to arrest you or pursue other legal action. They're going to say to you, that if they're telling you that you can pay this debt with retail gift cards or prepaid debit cards, wire transfers or cash, that should tell you right there. It's not legitimate.
This is really disturbing to me, and I'm sure to the rest of the seniors. How can we protect ourselves from these types of scams?
Yeah, Linda, the best way, once again, is to be alert and ask questions. Keep in mind that a government employee, no matter which agency they work for, they're never going to threaten you. I don't know if you remember recently, within the last year or so, there was the IRS scam was going on. I must have got 10 of them at my house in any given day where they allege I owe money, and that if I didn't give them money, they were going to come and arrest me. And I often say when I go out and about and talk to people about these agencies that are threatening you, I say, listen, I'm going to tell you one of law enforcement's biggest secrets, but you have to promise not to tell anybody. The secret is that if law enforcement's going to come and arrest you, they don't call you first. They just come and get you. So if that's the case, these people, when they are threatening you, when they're saying things to you like they're going to suspend your Social Security number, when they're going to demand immediate payment, when they demand that you pay the cash with fine or debit cards or wire transfers, that's not legitimate. So if that does happen, you ask for a supervisor. I mean, who knows? Maybe there's some rude person out there working for a state or governmental agency that's just being rude and not asking that next step. But ask to talk to them and make sure that, if you report them if it's legit. And once again, remember, we all have caller ID nowadays. If somebody calls you, always be really leery of that. And if they're saying something to you and they're trying to talk you or to tell you, that you won the Canadian lottery, that listen, another big secret. If you didn't play the Canadian lottery, you didn't win it. I mean, it's as simple as that. But they try to lure you in. And I think, if they say you won a car up in Toronto and, brand new 2021 Ford Expedition, but all you got to do is send the taxes up there for $1,500. You're never going to get that money back. It's if we can take a step back sometimes and just go in slow and slow and steady wins the race, making sure that we protect our information and that we protect, our monies and our valuables. I think we'll all be all set.
I received an email from Amazon telling me that my Prime membership card was invalid. It wanted me to update my card to either add a new account to it or change the existing account. Now, I doubted it, but is this real or is this a scam?
Yeah, most likely, Linda, it's going to be a phishing scam. And during the pandemic, we've seen an increase in these phishing scam emails that have malware incorporated into them. These emails often contain misleading information, false links. A few of the phishing scams that you get here in Plymouth County, as we get everywhere, are dealing with Amazon, Comcast, Netflix, Facebook. They all, unfortunately, end up in our email boxes. And you have to be really careful when you get those because of the fact, once again, they look legit, but you have to go to the next step.
Hey, Cruz, what exactly is a phishing scam and how does it work?
Yeah, and it's phishing, although it's spelled differently with a PH, not with an F. It's kind of the same philosophy in that they're throwing lines in the water. These scammers are throwing lines in the water and they're trying to get a bite, they're trying to get a hook. And what they're trying to do is send you an email, send you a text that appears to come from a legitimate company. The scam usually involves, once again, something alarming you, a ruse, so you'll be inclined to follow their instructions and provide your sensitive personal information. These emails and texts have malware incorporated into them and often contain misleading information and false links. And, once again, showing you how you can be shaken up in the middle of the day. We had a jury scam going on for a while. And a jury scam was people were getting phone calls and they were picking up the phone. And part of the jury scam was they'll say, "Is this Tim Cruz?" And you'll say, "Yes." "Well, there's a warrant for your arrest." And you're like, "What? For what?" "Well, you didn't show up for jury duty." And now we've all gotten those jury duty notices in the mail. They're usually tiny little postcards. And the first thing I'm thinking of is, well, if I got one, I probably threw it out with the rest of the junk mail. I probably shredded it. You should always shred your junk mail. And so now you're backpedaling, they'll start asking you more questions. "Well, you didn't show up that date. There's a warrant issued for your arrest for failing to appear for jury duty." And then they'll say, "Okay, you say it's not you. You say you didn't get anything. Where do you live?" "I live at 123 Main Street." "What town do you live in?" "I live in Lakeville, Massachusetts." "Okay. What's your social security number?" Now you've given them your social security number because they have you backpedaling. And you've given out information that you need to make sure you guard. But that's, once again, how these scammers work. That's why, whether it be through email, whether it be through the internet, whether it be a phone call, these people are good at what they do. And if they don't get you, they're going to get somebody else. So therefore, that's why it's important for us all to talk. So when we go back to that Amazon email that Linda had asked about, a person receiving an email stating that their Amazon Prime subscription is about to expire, but there's something wrong with the credit card associated with that account and it has to be updated or a new card needs to be added. Looks legit. You go on the Amazon logo's there. You go on the from box. It states it's from Amazon Prime. But when you click on the word Amazon Prime, in the from box, there's a FROM box. If there's a weird looking email there that the address will display, that's a great way to determine that the email is fraudulent and doesn't take you back to the Amazon people. So keep in mind that the link contained in this email is probably malware. Malware is where they try to infect your device and get your information. And that's the secret of malware. And it's designed to steal your personal information and make sure you don't get it. You get it back, but you don't know about it for a while, and they're going to use it to your detriment.
District Attorney Cruz, I received a text message stating that a package was being delivered to me, and the text had a tracking code that I was supposed to follow to give them delivery options. Is this legitimate or yet another type of scam?
Yeah, and unfortunately, it probably is another phishing scam, and it can be really confusing because, especially during COVID-19, everybody's ordering things online. I mean, and after a while, if you order a few things online, you may forget pretty well much what you ordered last week or when it's going to come. So you make sure that, when you're dealing with a legitimate company, they're going to inform you of your shipping and delivery options at the time that you place your order on their site. They may text you or alert you that your package is scheduled to be delivered, that it has been delivered, but they're not going to contact you in a text to set up a new delivery date. So we've received reports that people have received texts from FedEx, UPS, the post office, and Amazon stating that their package is en route. The text looks legit, contains a tracking code number, and a link that they need to set up the delivery options. It's really difficult to detect in this scam, but you may just have ordered, because you probably ordered something online, but if you click on that link for the tracking code or delivery setup, and it brings you to a form that starts asking you for your personal or your financial information, be alert, click out of it. That's malware. It's been designed to steal your information.
Hey, Cruz, what should our seniors do if they receive one of these phishing emails or text messages after looking at it really close? They still can't determine whether it's fake or not.
If you received one of these emails or one of these texts and you're not sure, then I encourage you to close out of that email or that text immediately. Go online, pull up the business, their website, and that you made a purchase from, and see if you go into their boxes, whether or not the text that you receive is reflected in there. Check its validity. So if you have an Amazon, referring to that Amazon scam we talked about, go online to Amazon.com. Sign into your account using the login for the section on their website, and under the category of your account, go on, or recent purchases, go on it. It's a safe and secure way to determine if your email or your text is valid or if it's fraudulent, because there really is an issue with your account or with your order, your delivery schedule. It's going to be reflected there. So to protect yourself, as with everything, be vigilant. If something sounds too good to be true, it always is. There is nobody out there giving any of us anything for nothing. And probably the most important thing of all this is if you do get scammed, or if you are in a position whereby you got something and you thought it was scam, you have to reach out to your local police. Reach out to them, because once again, they can get the word out and people will be vigilant, more vigilant than normal. And if they get something, they'll think twice before they open it up, rather than just say, oh, it looks legit, I'm going to go along with it. So I know that it can be embarrassing to be the victim of this, but once again, you shouldn't be embarrassed. These people are good at what they do. They are professional thieves, and remember that.
Thank you, District Attorney Cruz, for taking the time to speak with us today. This is great information and a valuable resource to our seniors. Is there someplace that our viewers can go to get additional information regarding the resources offered by your office?
Yeah, Kelly, all the information I've talked about today, and plus more regarding all the many things that we do around PlymouthDA.com. If you have any questions regarding anything, whether, whatever the situation may be, we always have people here that can answer your questions, or at least direct you in the right direction to go, to make sure that you don't make a mistake that we're not going to be able to make sure that we can finish for you. So I want to thank you all so much for having me on today, and I appreciate it. And hopefully everybody stays safe and we all get through this together.
Thank you very much. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank District Attorney Cruz once again for coming on our program. I'd like to send a special thank you to Linda Ewell for coming on and asking such insightful questions. I'd like to thank all of you at home for tuning into the show. This wraps up this episode of Senior Safety. I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you all.